Being Black in America comes with its challenges. However, we understand that enlightenment through education is the oppressor's worst fear. By bridging the gap between academia and the people, our purpose is to equip you with knowledge that breaks down barriers during your journey towards truth and freedom. Welcome to the Black and Highly Dangerous Podcast.
Hey, yo, Daph, how's it going?
It's going, preparing for another week of travel. I feel like I'm traveling all the time, but I am going up to Massachusetts to try to close out the school year. I have some meetings and things of that nature. And once that's done, hopefully I can start my summer break like you were talking about last week.
Yes, I'm so looking forward to that. Couple more weeks. Freedom.
Also enjoying this fabulous weather. I feel like it went from winter to summer in like 2 weeks, but I guess I won't complain.
Yeah, spring is really becoming non-existent, which is very weird.
It's like one of my favorite seasons. What's going on with you?
Nothing much, same old, finishing up the semester. End of the year gatherings, meetings, faculty stuff, finals, all grades, all that stuff, before I get the freedom of the summer.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, I guess it's fun to somebody. Oh man. So we got any oh Lord news this week?
Of course. Because we're coming up on Mother's Day, I'm going to try to balance it with some, I guess, heavier things or not so bright spots in oh Lord news, but also try to end it on a good note, I guess.
All right, let's see what you got. Hello, and welcome to BHD News, where we give you the most current and eye-opening oh Lord news of the week. Join us as we present news that'll make you want to say,
Okay, so for our first story, this is a warning to anyone who might think it is a good idea to, walk up to a wild animal and decide they want to take a selfie. Okay. So a man in India decided he was on a tour and they saw a injured bear, and he decided that it might be a good idea to take a selfie. And all of his fellow tour people, fellow passengers warned him not to do it. He did it anyway and got into a struggle with the bear. And come to find out, this happened in India, and come to find out, they are like the top place in the world where people die by selfie.
Oh, die by selfie. Oh my goodness, man. First of all, why are you trying to get that close to a big old wild animal like that? That's already crazy in itself, just to take a picture. Oh man, dying by selfies? That's
dying
new.
by selfies.
That's, but you know what? I mean, we are in a day and age where people are doing anything for selfies. I see all the spoofs and comedy sketches of people just of what you would do for a selfie. So I believe it. We're heading into that kind of time period. We're already in that time period for real.
It is, y'all. It is not worth it to try to impress people with that cool picture when you can lose your life.
It's not that serious. Getting likes is not that serious.
It's really not that serious.
Or if you really want it, just do the Bow Wow challenge, Photoshop a bear in the background or something.
Right. Yes.
It's a little safer. It's a little safer. You can still get some likes,
Although people might laugh at you.
People will laugh, probably.
Yeah. So for the second story, Two Native American brothers decided to go on a college tour at Colorado State University. They drove 7 hours for this tour. While on the tour, I guess they were quiet, taking in their surroundings, listening to the tour guide maybe. And next thing you know, police officers walk up on them and remove them from the tour because a mother on the tour decided that she did not feel safe because they were too quiet.
Oh my goodness. Come on, man. Like, what is going on?
I don't know. She said that she was afraid. She was scared by their shirts. They had on shirts with some heavy metal bands, which, I guess kind of has dark imagery, but I mean, they're metal bands, but a combination of their identity, their quietness, and their shirts. She told the police, she was like, I know for certain they don't belong on this tour. When the cops, came up to them, they showed them their tour passes. But unfortunately, the tour guide did not know what was going on and went ahead after the brothers were pulled out, and they were never able to catch up with the tour. And so they ended up driving back 7 hours home, without having a tour of the campus. And that's just so unfortunate.
Oh my goodness. Now we getting the cops called on us because we too quiet. Oh my God. We cannot win in this country. We cannot win. How does that make you nervous? I'm being loud. I make you nervous. I'm being quiet. I make you nervous. I'm running you nervous. I'm smart. I'm nervous. It's crazy, man. It's ridiculous. No matter what you do. When are we going to address this? How can we change
it's
this
really
nonsense?
Crazy.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Anything else? All right. So you got another one?
Yes. So for our final story, did you hear about the 3 Black girls that were selected as finalists for a NASA spinoff competition?
No, I hear about this one.
Okay, so yes, high school students were able to compete. They were going to be able to visit NASA. It was a public competition, so it was based on whichever team got the most number of votes. Well, once the Black internet found out that 3 Black high schoolers were competing for a NASA competition, they, of course, decided that they were going to make sure they won. And it was within the rules, so people were voting. They had almost 100,000 votes because of this Black internet push. And the closest team, it was 8 total teams. The closest team was, I think, a white and Asian team, and they had 16,000 votes. So, with a day left in the competition, it was clear that these 3 Black students from DC were going to win. They would win a trip to NASA, and they would get support for their project, which they wanted to find a way to reduce lead in public water systems. That was their project. And so once, I guess, white nationalist internet found out about it, they actually tried to hack into NASA's competition.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. And it became a big uproar because these students went from 90,000 votes to 100 and something. And yeah, we went off. Black internet went off. What's going on? People were writing reviews on NASA's Facebook page. They disabled the page. And then it came out that, NASA wasn't trying to steal these girls' votes. They weren't trying to change the rules of the competition. It was just that members of this underground white nationalist board put out kind of a hack alert to hack into NASA's system. And so NASA, kind of changed things to preserve the results thus far, but the competition had been compromised. And so with that, I mean, that kind of sucked for them. But on the positive note, the DC mayor's office actually awarded those 3 students $4,000 to further develop their project. We're still waiting to hear back from what NASA is going to do. I know they're going to put the top 3 teams on their website, but honey, those girls won fair and square. So NASA, get it together.
Yeah, let's give a round of applause for Black Pride. Let's go.
Yeah.
Sorry, white supremacy. You couldn't win today.
Yes. It is so crazy though, because they were just winning. Like we voting, the power of voting. Mm-hmm. We put our mind to something. We were like, oh, it's going to be, what's that movie called? It's going to be Hidden Figures all over again. That's what we said. And we made it happen.
Yep.
But racist hackers tried to interrupt that.
Always hating, man. That's what I'm saying. You can't be black and quiet. You can't be black and smart. We can't do nothing. They just always trying to keep us down. But we always winning. No, they can't stop us though. They can't.
Yes. But I thought that was really positive. It was great to see them doing, great things and to get so much support. There's like this stereotype that Black people only support, people that go to jail, like they're only putting their, free whoever. But come on now, we support all of our people. And that was a clear testament to the fact that, we're going to support our people. Mm-hmm. So shout out to Black Internet.
Nice. Shout out to them for sure. That's what's up.
So did you watch Saturday Night Live last night?
I didn't watch Saturday Night Live, but I heard about the Gambino performance and his video that was recently released. Did you check it out? Did you see Saturday Night Live?
So I was actually at a sports bar, and so I kind of saw it on mute. It looked really interesting. And then to wake up and see the This Is America video, I saw the similarities between his performance and this video, which had me I'm literally still processing it. It was very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. I watched it probably about 3 or 4 times already. And I've actually articles already began to pop up about it. All the cameos in there, just the visualizations, a lot of hidden messages, trying to unpack it. It's really some good creative artistry right there, with the song and also with the visuals. But he's really unpacking America in a lot of ways with the gun violence.
Yeah.
And, the racism and a lot of things, and even just kind of even how he kind of put in the message of the current social media and statuses and likes and doing everything right, like kids dancing and stuff like that, and him dancing while all the chaos is still going on, still putting on that performance. Yeah, really, really powerful, and I'm interested to see what the rest of this album is going to be like. But I'm pretty sure this is setting a tone for giving us a taste of what he's about to be speaking on, and the complete opposite of what Kanye has been on. So,
Lord, I was thinking the same thing. First of all, I thought it was really interesting how he juxtaposed the joy with the terror, the happiness with the pain. 1 second I'd be smiling, yeah. And the next I'm like, oh my God, did that really just happen? Especially when he kind of, took us back to the church massacre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was just kind of wow, that's a lot to take in. And I'm going to watch that so many times. But you, I was also I can't wait for this album, because this is the type of genius that I think Kanye wants to be, but he is no longer pulling it off.
No way. He's on a whole different planet right now. He's not.
Yeah.
And why somebody like Gambino can do this is because he sits down, he really thinks about it, puts it out creatively, understands the message and what he's trying to do, while Kanye just says the first word that comes to his mind and thinks it's thinks it's genius. No, that's not genius, man. You're not prepping anything, preparing for any of this. You're just saying whatever it is, and a lot of damage.
Yeah. I actually found out that Kanye doesn't read. Like you said, he just says. And so I kind of got tired of it all week, because there were a lot of people on my Facebook that, wanted to be fake deep and pretend like they really got what Kanye, the genius, was saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, look, if what you're saying is not based in fact or even reality, baby, you're not a free thinker. You a clown. Just stop. Make sure what you say is grounded in some type of knowledge about what you're doing, because otherwise you're going to look like Boo Boo the Fool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people were trying to like find some understanding of what Kanye was saying. But the bottom line, it's not based in anything. It's just thoughts that popped in his mind, and he's been running with it, and it's been causing all this chaos. And now you got Trump over here in speeches referencing Kanye West, talking about it's increasing his black support now, like doubled it or something like that. Some number, which of course I refuse to believe,
Well, it was a poll, but of course the sample was less than 200, although we do know statistically you don't need like a huge sample to be able to generalize. But it was some poll that they regularly do on a weekly basis that said like black male support went from like 11% to like 22%. Or something like that.
Man, Kanye's bugging right now, man. Like I said,
I'm like, get it together. One positive thing that came out of this is people have started to really go into their history and try to read and disrupt the narrative that somehow, enslaved black people were complacent or somehow complicit in their own position or station, during that time in life. And one thing I found that I am very happy about is I found this project called Freedom on the Move. And it is a historical archive out of Cornell University. And they are archiving fugitive slave ads, and they have found more than 100,000. That is 100,000 different ads that people put out, either advertising enslaved Africans that they found to say, hey, this person, quote unquote, belongs to someone, which they didn't, or to say, I am missing, this particular person from my plantation. And that just shows how many people were trying. And that's probably not even all of them, because think about how many were not advertised. So I just thought that was beautiful and amazing. And it just say, learn your history.
Definitely goes against that narrative that Kanye was spewing, that people were just passive in this entire experience. You know what I'm saying? Like even referenced in Black Panther, the movie, he says, he'd rather, die than be in bondage, because our ancestors were jumping off ships because they knew what was at stake. You know what I'm saying? That's not being a passive, in the whole experience. You're making moves to resist in various different ways. And Kanye just needs to pick up a few books and take a couple of classes before he starts speaking on this stuff. Whatever.
That I agree. And his mom was like a African-American studies professor.
She was a teacher.
Which makes this, yes, that's what makes this all the more sad.
Yeah, he said his dad was an activist too, and I watched that interview with Charlamagne the God, and Charlamagne asked him like, yo, you're not gonna sit here and tell me that your mom would like vote for Trump or, support Trump. You're not gonna sit here and say that. Like Charlamagne's like, I refuse to believe that. And he tried to deflect, well, like my mom taught me to think differently, but he was like, would your mom be supporting Trump though, like you trying to be? It was like this long pause, he was in deep thought, really thinking about. I'm like, man, this man clearly doesn't think stuff through. If you're saying all this stuff, he asked this question. Now it seems like you're actually really taking in and thinking about what you're saying and doing. You need to spend a little bit more time doing that, my brother, before you start this nonsense.
But speaking about mothers and, what they try to teach us and instilling us, today we have some very special guests.
Very special.
Do we not, Ty?
Yes, we do. This week we have, because, we like to pay attention to the calendars, and we see that this Sunday is going to be Mother's Day. We thought, let's have a discussion on motherhood. And with that being said, we thought, who would be some good people to talk to about motherhood? And of course, we decided to bring in our own mothers as guests, who we interviewed for this week's episode on Black and Highly Dangerous.
Do you think do you think the audience is going to learn anything embarrassing about you?
You know what? Me and Daphne, we like to keep it real and we want to be transparent. And so having our mothers on as guests, that definitely is the case. You guys will learn some things.
Yes, you have to be completely open to interviewing your mom and not knowing what she's going to say.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty scary.
So, yeah, shout outs to us for having that courage to do something like this. But shout out to her.
When Ty proposed it, I was like, oh, Lord.
Yeah. That definitely was oh, Lord moment. Well, we did it. We went ahead and did it because we think it would be a really good episode. And, we had a lot of fun. You guys will see during the interview, it was a lot of fun, a lot of laughing. If you could see our faces, probably a lot of blushing and embarrassment. But luckily, this audio.
A lot of like scratching my head, like rubbing my head, like, oh, okay, yeah. Next question. That was often my face.
So yeah, hopefully I get a lot out of it. These are our mamas, so we had them on and it was fun. And, they did shed some light and drop some knowledge and some gems on the experience of motherhood and what to maybe expect and how to navigate some things. A lot of people in me and Daphne's age range right now having kids for the first time or thinking about having kids. And so it was just good to hear some advice on what it's like, what to do, how to operate. And then also just them sharing experiences about me and Daphne growing up and, some of the things we may or may not have done,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
So I guess we should get into it because it's a very
let's get into it. Hopefully y'all enjoy it. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day to our mamas. We love you. Right. And
happy Mother's Day. Love you.
All right. And
love you both because without both of you, BHD would not be here.
Would not be here.
So you helped birth this too.
Yes, all of y'all need to be thanking all of our listeners. You need to be thanking our mothers, these special guests, because you would not have this if it were not for them. All right, guys. Well, check it out and we'll catch up with y'all later. All right.
Listen, we both have huge jobs, but when I come home from mine, from, saving lives and whatnot, I start a whole other second huge job. When you come home, you play video games.
Babe, that is ridiculous. That's the sound it makes when I get a work email.
You have lost this round. Playing time, 4 hours, 13 minutes. New record.
Okay, maybe I have a little problem.
Just a little bit.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, babe.
Mom?
Yeah.
I forgot to tell you last week, but Jack and I need 2 dozen cupcakes for school tomorrow. Yeah, that's 23 cupcakes.
Tomorrow? Oh, great. That sounds fun for me.
And be careful with the frosting. Last time you made some, it looked like you did them last minute. Yeah, you kind of phoned it in, Mom.
Did you even hear what she said?
Yes, she said, hey, Dad. Then she said something to you.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, there's like 1,000 invisible things that I do around here that aren't even on your radar.
Okay, babe, I hear you. Let me tell you what. Let me handle all the kids' stuff this week, including whatever it is that Diane just said.
Really?
Yes, really.
That would be great. I could really use a break.
I know. You look tired.
I look tired, Dre?
Oh, look what's here in the paper. Your obituary.
Yeah, okay. I'm scared. It's been 10 years since I've had a baby in this house. And I don't know what I'm doing.
You have 4 amazing kids.
They're fine.
Okay, so if you don't have this down, what the hell am I supposed to do? You're the perfect mom.
I hate that expression so much. What, everybody else gets to have flaws? And moms have to be perfect? Oh, God. It's been so long. My God. And I'm older, and kids are babies. Babies are stronger now.
Like weed.
I'm really sorry I was so judgy.
Yeah. Here is the deal.
Okay.
From now on, we are gonna support each other.
I like that.
Because we are amazing.
We should all support each other, but we can't. Because you two are failures.
Come on with Grandma.
Every day, Gigi. Every day.
No news. In my house, the most important holiday of the year was Mother's Day. You'd think it'd be Christmas, and it might have been if Jesus cleaned our house and cooked our meals.
Oh, wow. That smells good.
Who wants meatloaf?
Have you thought about what you want for Mother's Day, Mom?
You kids cleaning up the house, that would be nice.
You tried that. When you sprained your shoulder, remember? It didn't go too well.
It went well for you, lazy.
Hey, Dad, what you getting Mom for Mother's Day?
Me? Why should I get anything? It's Mother's Day, not Wife's Day.
What?
Maybe some flowers.
I wanted to get my mother something nice because all I could think of was how much she sacrificed. She sacrificed at home.
Okay, who wants pizza?
And she sacrificed in the streets.
Thanks for your coat, Mama.
That's okay, baby. I like the cold. You know what, you guys? You don't have to give me anything. You give me such great gifts every year.
No, we don't. Just make you some stupid gift out of macaroni.
My macaroni oven mitts were not stupid.
Yeah, you're right. They weren't nearly as stupid as your macaroni hot cone.
Shut up.
Or your macaroni bowl.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to BHD Podcast. Today we have some very special guests here with us to celebrate Mother's Day this upcoming weekend. And, of course, it is our mothers.
Yes, yay. Hand clap for mothers.
Hand clap for the moms. So, hello.
Yes. Hello.
Hi, we're here.
You guys are here. We feel like it's the right thing to do is have our mothers join us for this Mother's Day episode and just have a conversation about motherhood on this particular day. So, moving forward, we have some questions for our moms. We can learn a little bit more about them and motherhood, and I'm sure you'll probably learn a little bit more about me and Daphne as well throughout this process because we are their children, and I'm sure at times they'll be talking about their children. But moving
and
forward,
to that I say, oh Lord.
Oh Lord. We're going to have to put ourselves on Oh Lord news segment probably. All right, so we'll just start off the conversation with, I guess each of you can just, tell us a little bit about yourselves to break the ice, and then we can move from there.
Okay, I'll start. I'm a family of 9. I have 8 brothers and 1 sister, and I'm the baby of the family. And I'm spoiled.
Is that
That's
so?
a good thing. That's a good thing.
Anything else about yourself?
I work for the University of Chattanooga, and I'm married, along with 2 other siblings. And things in life has been good.
Well, that's good to hear.
Daphne, you're not the baby, are you?
I'm the baby too.
Oh. Yes, Daphne is the baby.
Is she spoiled? Is she spoiled too?
No,
yeah,
I'm an independent woman.
Spoiled a lot.
I'm an independent woman. I'm not spoiled.
All right.
She's spoiled.
All right. Ma?
Okay. I've come from a family of 6, 4 girls, 2 boys. I'm married. I've been married for 33 years. I've raised 3 boys. I've been on my job as a bank manager for 25 years. And now I'm at the point in my life where it's like empty nester. And I'm, happy about that because now I'm at the place where I'm kind of rediscovering me and that feels good. So I'm in a good place right now in my life.
Okay. All right.
Oh, that's good.
In other words, she's happy all her kids are gone.
For retirement.
So I get both of you kind of mentioned as a part of your identity is that you are mothers, which of course that's the purpose of this episode. So we want to know, how did you feel about becoming a mother? What was that like?
Well, I was ready at the time that I started having my children because I wanted to grow up with my children, and I wanted my children to be able to teach me as well as I'm teaching them. And I found it to be a very good experience. I had some good times. I had some bad times, but other than that, I enjoyed my children, and I enjoyed carrying my children. And I had different type food that I craved with each child. And with Daphne, it was greens and green beans.
Okay.
I couldn't get enough of the two vegetables.
Green and green beans.
Maybe I love greens. I love greens and green beans. Two of my favorite vegetables.
Well, that's what I ate all the time, carrying.
For me, becoming a mother, it was one of the best things that happened to me. Like Daphne's mom, I always wanted to be a mother from a little girl. I was one of those people that I'm going to have 12 kids. I'm going to have a huge family. So becoming a mother, I was always happy. I had my 3 boys. I raised them. Just always had good times. Just always felt good as being a mother as far as inputting into my kids, speaking life into them, watching them grow, and just always trying to have that positive outlook to make to see that they were going to grow up to be good men. I've always enjoyed it. I hear people have stories about motherhood and the bad side of it. I mean, like Daphne's mom said, there's good, there's bad, but I enjoyed every minute of it, whether it was good or bad. Just the experience of being responsible for another human being and inputting in their lives and watching them grow and mature and just watching them become who they are and knowing that you had a part of another human being's life and making them who they are. I just love every bit of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, what were your cravings, Ma?
Yeah.
Oh, my cravings. Before I remember when I was pregnant with Terrell, but I didn't know I was pregnant. I remember having my husband get up. It was like 11:30 at night. I'm like, I need some chocolate. Get me some chocolate.
Oh no!
And I kind of kicked him out the bed, and he ran up the street, got me some chocolate at 11:30 at night, and he came home. I ate my chocolate. I was happy, and then a couple weeks later, realized I was pregnant. But it was chocolate. That chocolate.
Kristen, if you're listening, this is where I get it from.
That's crazy though, to hear that how I love greens and green beans and that's what my mom crave, and you love chocolate and that's what your mom was craving. That is so crazy.
Yes. I enjoy cooking them and eat them.
All right. So the next question is to both of you. When you were becoming a mom or realized you were becoming a mom, were you nervous about it at all? And if you were, how did you maybe overcome that?
No, I wasn't nervous at all. I did a lot of exercise, walking. I was more or less prepared with Daphne before the first 2. I was very prepared for her as far as carrying her and nurturing her and things. I was ready for her. I was just ready. I was just hoping she didn't come. She came a week before my birthday. She was born in the same month.
So you didn't want to share the birthdays?
No, I didn't want to share the birthday. I sure didn't. But I
like my birthday.
Yes, I really enjoyed carrying her and talking to her. I talked with her, and then where she would recognize things as I met her. She would recognize my voice, and her eyes would go straight to me. And that's exactly what she did.
Oh, nice.
And I picked her name out. Because my middle name is a D. So I named all my children with a D. So that's how she got the name Daphne.
Nice.
Okay. With me, was I nervous? I wasn't nervous in the sense of not knowing that I was going to be a good mom, or being able to feed my baby, having to clothe them and house them. I think my nervousness was from I have this human being here now that I'm responsible for, and I just wanted to make sure that I would be that kind of mom that would be able to direct my child in the way that they needed to go. And, my nervousness was more or less being that example for my children that they would need, because I didn't want the world to be the example. I wanted to be the example. So my nervousness was like making sure I was going to kind of do the right things, say the right things, just that kind of nervousness, but nervous as far as being a mom. And like I said, every minute of it, I always loved and, still to this day, love the same thing. But I just more of being an influence on their lives, knowing that, who they were going to be was going to fall on me and my husband, and that was a little bit of nervousness with me as far as that part. But no, it's been good. The whole ride has been good,
So what was the hardest part about being pregnant with any of your pregnancies? What was that?
Waiting on the last days for you to come. Waiting on you to come and not being able to really do things that you could normally do. Get up and do laundry, and just waiting. That was the biggest part about it. Just waiting on the last couple of days. And all of a sudden they say, oh, you're going to have your baby. Okay. Other than that, I really, that was my only impatience about the last minute of being pregnant, waiting on you to come. Mm-hmm. And I did everything I could in order for you to come. I walked. I just was more or less excited, and everybody was saying, when you going to have that baby? I said, whenever she decided to come. I knew you was a girl. I didn't have a thing where you could say you having a boy or girl. I already knew what you were. Mm-hmm. So I named all my children. I knew what each child was going to be from the beginning to the end.
For me, as far as being pregnant and what was the hardest thing, for me, because I was going through at the time with my before I got pregnant, I was going through health issues. It's so funny because when I became pregnant, my children were a blessing to the point where they helped me with my health. I became, I felt much better once I was pregnant. I didn't have any morning sickness. I didn't have any of that kind of stuff going on. So when I was pregnant, it was all good. I had a lot of energy. It was a good time. I kind of just, I remember talking to Terrell a lot and, speaking to him while he was in my belly and, just doing a lot of that kind of stuff. But the hardest thing, I guess, was I had to have a C-section. So that part of the pregnancy was hard for me, having to have a C-section and not being able to have the child natural. But, yeah, but it was, it was good. I just enjoyed every minute of it, the growth of them, watching your belly move and, the different stages that you had to go through. And it was all good. It was good.
Okay, here's a random,
I had all mine natural.
Oh. Okay. I was actually about to say, this is a random, I'm not a mom or I haven't been pregnant question. Mm-hmm. Is it true that once you have one C-section, you aren't able to have vaginal births moving forward, or is that not true?
They say,
I don't think that's true.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I have a friend that had a C-section.
Right.
And she turned around and had a vaginal. So, that's not always true.
It's not. With me, they suggested each time because I had the first one with Terrell, and then each one was after that. It was they gave me a certain date to have the baby, so they took the baby at each one. So I had 3 C-sections, which was the hardest part of my pregnancies because C-sections are not easy. And it's, takes you a little longer to recoup after each C-section. Yes, you have to stay in the hospital longer. And, then when you come home, it just takes a while, to heal with the C-section. So, like I said, if that's the down part of my pregnancies, each one I had to have a C-section.
Well, I had all mine natural. Mm-hmm. I didn't have no medication. When I went to the hospital, I had my baby.
Oh.
I was like 30 minutes, maybe an hour. I was an hour with Daphne, but I had my children time. I went to the hospital. That's the way I always wanted it.
Y'all need
the medication or nothing.
Y'all need to give a clap for Mom on that one. Y'all need to clap.
Yeah. Okay.
Daphne
Speedy Gonzalez. Dang.
Oh, that moves us to our next question, right? Because I think many of our listeners may be around, the age of Daphne and I. And many of them will or may be experiencing motherhood for the first time. So what would be some advice you would give to first-time mothers about their pregnancy?
I would give them the advice for their first-time pregnancy to be yourself, know your own body, because what's going to happen is when you become a first-time mom, people are going to tell you a lot of things, from their own experiences. But I think that you should try to experience things your own, because it's all different. Everybody's experience are very different. So a lot of times people will tell you what they went through and how it was for them. I think that you should, for yourself, have your own experiences, live your own experiences, go through your own things. And, if you have questions, ask the questions. Don't be afraid, because there's a lot that you won't know. But a lot of things, people will just kind of overwhelm you, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. But I just say, have your own experience, enjoy your own walk in this, instead of, taking on everybody else's experiences and how they went through this and what they went through. It's all good. The information is good, but know how to tune things out and know for yourself, what part is good for you and what part is not.
That sounds like
Make
some
your
advice
own
your
diary.
son. That sounds like some advice your son recently get.
Make your own diary of every month of your pregnancy.
What types of things do you think you should write down?
The experiences that your body is starting to change, you starting to feel growth in you, just everything about your body that you notice is different. Write it down, because you will have time that you will look at yourself and say, oh, and one thing about pregnancy, it is very beautiful. Your face, your whole body structure, it becomes beautiful. So you make sure that you write your own diary of how you started your pregnancy and be able to tell your baby, this is how I describe you. This is you growing inside me. So every month you will notice a difference in your body.
That's cool.
Of your own. You do that for yourself.
So in thinking about your advice, Mama Connor or Mrs. Francine, did you have a lot of help from people to teach you about mothering? What were some of the things you heard heard from people?
Well, because my husband was in the military, we were in California, so we were away from family. So it was just my husband and myself. And so I didn't have a lot of hands-on help. Of course, my mother was there by phone. His mother was there by phone. But a lot of it, my husband and I learned on our own, and what I did learn is that I knew that Terrell was my child. And I felt like I knew what was best for him. Like it was a bond that I knew, when he cried, what he needed, and it was just a bond that, like I said, that I felt that I was his mom and I knew what to do for him. It was something like they said, when you have a baby, instantly, you just know what to do for that child. You just know how to take care of him. And the mothering just came right over me. So, we did have people in the church that we went to. They gave us some advice and told us some things to do, until I had one of the mothers of the church. She gave me the advice that I just said. She said, you know what? Everybody's going to tell you what to do. They're going to tell you how to do it, but that's your baby. You know how to do what what you're doing. You're not going to hurt them. You're going to take care of them. So when she told me that, I kind of let go of everything everybody else was saying. And I knew that Terrell was mine and there was nothing I was going to do to hurt him. And, I was able to bond, and it was good. It was all good.
What about you, Mom? Did you have a lot of help with mothering?
Yes, I had your great granny. She was spoiling you to death, and she always made sure that I gave you the loving and don't hold you so much. And she gave me that kind of advice. You don't want to spoil them, because people won't want to keep your baby. With certain things like that she always, would say, no, you can't feed her at a certain time. You got to put her on the schedule. You got to, just fix it where she's going to be Daphne, and that's exactly what I did. I put you on a schedule every day, like my grandmother said, and it was nice, because you was a good kid. You was a very good baby. No, you didn't cry. You didn't. Everything that my grandmother had told me to do, I did, and that was don't spoil you, don't hold you, don't rock you. You get all that kind of advice. Don't do this.
Maybe that's why I'm so introverted, because then nobody hold me.
Nobody. Ain't nobody hold that.
They didn't want to hold you like they wouldn't let me hold you. No, put her down. Don't rock her. No, because if you have to go somewhere, then this is where it's going to have to go. Everybody's going to have to stand up and hold you, and everybody's going to have to rock you. So they taught me certain things that not to do. That's what I got most of. Don't do this. I didn't get the things that I got the good things as far as loving you, but as far as just teaching you, just being a mom, no, this was a no. You can't do this. You can't do that. No. You cannot sit up and hold her. No. You cannot just, you cannot just rock her. You cannot just, no. And I was like, okay, Mama, I'll do it. So I got a lot of no's as far as the no's, what not to do. Because she was going to have to be kept. And they was like, anybody got to keep her. They're not going to want to do these things.
Right.
Rock you, if you cry, you let you cry. It's all right if she cries, because the people have a hard time like, oh, I got to get my baby. She's crying. I got to get my baby. And I was like, no, sometimes crying is good for them. So and I had to learn that kind of stuff too. And that was kind of hard for me, to see you cry and can't pick you up. No, let her hide, make her lungs good. That was always one of the best things they would say. No, let her cry. Her lungs will be strong. She'll be strong then, okay?
Okay, people, this might explain a lot of things.
Oh, you got some strong lungs?
Why I have strong lungs, why I can run a lot, and why I'm introverted and I can spend a lot of time by myself. Okay, I know now.
I guess you learned a lot about Daphne today. Learned a lot about Daphne.
God.
So, I guess going along those lines too, what can you remember? Maybe we got some potential or some first-time mothers listening, or some people that might be moms soon. What is maybe a mistake you remember from when you were raising your child or your baby that you because you were new to being a mom or whatever, you weren't sure, and can you remember one maybe to share with us, our listeners?
I know with me, I won't say it was a mistake. It was a not knowing. When we brought you home, and I guess maybe a month or two in, you were crying for a day or so, so me and my husband were doing everything that we know to do, feed you, change you, carry you, rock you, and you just kept crying. Day 2, the same thing. So we took you to the doctors, and finally we found out that you had an ear infection. And being a new mom, I couldn't see the signs of you had an ear infection. And the doctor said, oh, he was probably trying to grab his ear and do this. I'm like he was. But me being a new mom and not having anybody around me to tell me, that was your issue, that bothered me, that I was your mom. You were in pain, but I didn't know what it was, so for 2 days, I'm trying to comfort you and there was nothing to comfort you. I couldn't comfort you. That bothered me, that, my baby was in pain and I didn't know how to get him out of pain. And I couldn't recognize that it was an ear infection, that you had. So yeah, that kind of did something to me for a second.
It's okay. I'm okay now.
Yeah, I know.
What about you, Mom? Were there any first-time mistakes or things you just didn't know?
My first mistake was putting you in the bed with me. When you first bring a baby home, they cry and you want to cuddle them, and it's like, no, you cannot. Put her in her own bed, because you could go to sleep and roll over on your baby. I couldn't get that through my head for a minute or two. I had to just have you that close to me to where if you cried or anything, there you was in the bed with me. And that was my biggest mistake, was putting you in the bed with me, and I had to be taught that is a no-no. So that was my biggest problem as far as bringing a baby home and being nervous, having a baby in another room and you crying, but you're not right there with me. I wanted you there with me at all times. That was my biggest, scare.
That is really sweet. It makes up for her saying that she didn't want to rock me. That actually, I've read a lot about that recently, and we can put some resources on this episode because they have created like these cute little bassinets that you can now attach to the bed so that your baby is safely away from you, but can still be near you. So we'll add some of that to the website. So, what time period of your child's life do you think it is easiest to be a mom? And what part of a child's life do you think it is most difficult to be a mom?
For me, the easiest part was when my boys were younger. They were, little, running around, doing their little thing. Because what I liked to do when they were little, we always sat down because my husband, when he was working at nights or when he was working, me, Terrell, and his brothers would always get together when they were younger, and we would sit around and just talk about anything. They would come in my room, sit on my bed, sit on the floor, and for hours we'd be in there just talking, about their little lives and what was going on with them. And I always took those moments at those particular times to kind of, drop little seeds of nuggets and talk to them about certain things. And, those are precious moments. Even to this day, when they all come home and we all get together, we'll do the same thing. We'll find ourselves in my bedroom. They're all around the floor or on the bed, and we're still doing those same things. So at that time in my life, when they were younger and we had those moments, those were like very treasured moments for me. And those are the things that I loved. And the hardest part I could say is like now, I say the last 4 years have been the hardest for me to watch my boys. They've been there and we've been a very close family, but to watch them go and leave home and not come. And I know they're not coming back. They're on their own. They're doing well. They found their wives. And for me, it's a transition where now I'm, it's been a challenge, but I'm doing well with it. You got to make those boundaries and do the things that you got to do. But so them leaving and going on their own has been the hardest for me.
What about you, Mom?
My favorite was when I would tell you and your brother, your sister, y'all need to go to school and get an education because your mom can't read, your mom can't do this, and your mom can't do that. And you all will come home and make sure that I know how to read and I know how to write. So one day your brother say, why did mama tell her she couldn't read when she's answering the questions that we need to be answered? But there was their enjoyment, and I enjoyed them coming home every day, reading to me or doing math and everything. But at the same time, they did not focus that mama is teaching us how to do these things at the same time, not telling us she already know how to do it. And that was my biggest joy of seeing my kids actually come in and do that, and Daphne was that teacher. Mama, come on, let me teach you. But she never focused that mama could do these things, and I really enjoyed that the most, and then my hardest part was letting all three of them go, especially Daphne. Daphne was the one that was at home the most with me because she was the youngest. And I went through a thing in life where I lost, Daphne had a sister up under her. And Daphne said to me, Mama, I'm never going to leave you. I'm going to always be here for you. And she always told me infinity. She said, infinity, Mama. That means I love you and I'm going to always be here. So she stuck that glue in my head. So now I'm having to let infinity go. So I've grown a lot to let infinity grow, and to let her be able to go and things. But that was my hardest, but that was my most exciting part, to see her develop to become the woman that she is, because that's what I instilled in her and her sister and her brother the most. And I see them in me.
Yes.
Oh, okay, wow. Y'all trying to make a grown man cry over here, man. So the next question, which is making me a little nervous, but we're going to ask it because we're going to stay true. Stay true to our listeners. We ain't going to be, I'm not going to hide anything here. Can each of you, I guess, tell a funny story about me, tell a funny story about Daphne for our listeners?
Well, with Terrell, you're Terrell is just so serious and so always focused. He really never, just let his guard down. And I'm trying to, what did he do that's really funny? But the only time I can really think of is I was thinking about Daphne's mom when she was talking about don't hold a baby, don't do all that. Terrell doesn't remember this because he was a baby, but we came home from California to visit our family, and I remember my sister saying, "Oh, go out, enjoy. I'll watch Terrell for you." So I took a few hours, went out and did my thing and came back, and I said to her, "Well, how was he?" She said, "Oh, he was fine. Don't worry, he was good." So I said, "Okay, good." And then maybe a year or two later, I remember we were having a conversation, and she said to me, "When you told me to watch Terrell that time," she said, "Girl, he cried the whole time you were gone." She said he screamed and he hollered. Nobody could do nothing with him. And then the minute you came home, he stopped crying, so we laughed about that after, but she didn't tell me that in the beginning. But like Daphne's mom was saying, because I was the only one there, I held him all the time. So when somebody else had to watch him for a while, they just said he hollered and screamed the whole time.
Okay. I guess we'll agree to disagree on that.
Okay, let's hear this story.
Okay, when Daphne had two older siblings, and they liked to ride their bike, and they was outside riding their bike, and Daphne had a training wheels on her bike, and they went off and left Daphne, and she was just standing outside just crying, and I said, "Daphne, what's wrong?" She said, "Nobody want to play with big girls, little girls." I said, "Well, Daphne, I play with little girls." She said, "You can't play with me, you a mama." I said, "Daphne, yes, I can play with you." And she was just, and she was running behind her siblings, and I was like, "Daphne, come back, come back, come back." And then another thing that Daphne did, my grandmother had false teeth, and Daphne would always watch her, what she would do, and my grandmother would put them on the coffee table. And one day my grandmother put them on the coffee table, and Daphne grabbed her teeth and was trying to put them in her mouth. And my grandmother could not call anybody because she was laughing so hard. And when we all got there, we was like, "Daphne, give me mama's teeth." Daphne, she was trying to get them things in her mouth. And I was like, "Oh my God." I mean, that was funny. I think we have pictures of that too. Daphne trying to get the teeth in her mouth, and I was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, we need to share those pictures.
Yes, I have a lot of crazy, funny pictures of Daphne. But that's basically it, she was just a funny little girl.
That's too funny. That's too funny.
So you have shared a time when we did something funny. We want you to share a time where we did something bad.
I never did nothing bad, so I'm all
okay. I have a hard time believing that.
She probably ain't got nothing to say on this question.
Yes, I do too. I remember when Terrell was about 7 years old. So we went to the store, me, my husband, and Terrell and his brother. We're shopping and we're doing whatever we needed to do, and him and his brother, right next to us doing what they're doing. So we paid for everything and we left the store. And then we went out, Terrell and his brother just giggling and laughing. And me and my husband turned around and said, "What y'all laughing about? What y'all giggling about?" And Terrell showed us his little toy. We like, "What you doing with the toy, Terrell?" He done stole a little toy from the store. We like, "Really?" That was so funny. But what we did is we took Terrell and his brother back into the store and made Terrell tell the clerk what he did and made Terrell apologize to the clerk.
You snitched on me?
So you don't remember that time? You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember that. But I think it was just...
You wiped it from your memory.
I think I was just beginning my early research as the criminal justice researcher very early on.
It was an experiment.
That was your research, all right.
Yeah, that's all I was trying to do. Just see if I can get away.
Yeah,
Okay, we can just move on to the next question. You don't have to talk about
You want to hear about bad girl Daphne?
I really don't think I did anything bad, but okay, Mom, you can.
No, you did. You had Daphne had one fight in her life, and that was with her cousin. She definitely got to fight one time and got put off the bus because her cousin was messing with this little girl, and Daphne didn't want her cousin to mess with the little girl. And then her cousin both got to fighting. And when we got to the principal's office, and the principal said, "Aren't y'all related?" And we was, her auntie, and we said, "Yeah, they cousins." That was about that's the only thing that Daphne ever did. It wasn't bad. It was a good thing, but it was a bad that her and her cousin got to fighting. That was the only bad thing Daphne, to me, that she thinks she ever did. Other than that, no, she's never been a bad kid.
She is right about that. That was my social justice mindset playing there. And I was just taking up for someone else. And it led to some bobbing and weaving.
So you started the anti-bullying campaign earlier than most.
Yeah, she did. We just couldn't figure out why the cousins, why they was fighting. But they got to fighting over it,
That is
Other than that, I've never had a problem out of her.
Okay. So this next question, we know when you have kids, your life changes, right? And there are things you probably enjoyed doing before you had kids. So name something that you used to love to do, but you couldn't do it anymore once the kids came along.
Me, it was quiet time. Love being by yourself, just being able to sit and just do nothing and just have that quiet time. And I remember once Terrell was born, that quiet time went away. He would follow me from room to room to room. Everywhere I turned, Terrell was there. I go in the bathroom, I close the door. Those little hands was trying to get underneath the door. "Mom, what you doing? Mom, what you doing?" I told my husband, I said, "No, we need to have another baby so Terrell can have somebody to play with besides me." Because my quiet time just went away. Yeah, but it was quiet time. I still love being alone and having that little me time.
Mm-hmm. What about your mom? What was
spending time with your family, with the family? Your aunties, and how we all would get together on weekends or weekdays. I could go and say, "Hey, y'all get some food. I'm gonna cook." And then all of a sudden, I got children. Now, every day children grown, and I'm the only one with children, so I have to bring my children. So that's basically the most thing I missed about that, was being able to go and be with my family when we have, like, girls' night, or, because me and my cousins and my sister, and we would all be at one house, and we would just do cooking or just get on the bed and just talk to each other. So I missed that. I had missed that, time with the girls. I say that.
Yeah, I will say. So she mentioned, so my mom is the baby, but like the extreme baby. So like her sister and brother, like, yeah, they could have been like grandparents to me. Not my aunt. I'm not saying that about you, Aunt Tara. I'm sorry. But like some of my uncles. No. But she's like the extreme baby, which sometimes it's like a 10, 20-year gap. So,
okay.
Yeah. She was running around with the kids as my older cousins were like in their teens and 20s.
Yeah. I have older siblings that's in their 70s. The closest sibling to me is 3 years older. That's it. Everybody else, I have a niece same age as me, So it is kind of.
So this is the question that everyone wants to know, the burning question. Do you believe in spankings?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do too.
I got them when I was little. So you deserve them too.
What? Daphne, you got spanked, Daphne?
Every now and then. It stopped after a while, but I did get a few spankings. Well, actually, I'm not even going to call it spankings. I got a few whoopings. Some whoopings.
Yeah.
Terrell got a few spankings, but the way him and his brothers, if you hear them describe it, they're little. You might tap them, or you might get a belt and like just tap them. So, but they act like we killed them. Every time they sit around and talk about it, oh my God, they got 1 million spankings and we just almost killed them. And me and my husband looking at each other like, we don't know what they talking about.
Oh, so they was just taps, huh? They was just taps. Okay.
There was a little tap on your behind, you know?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I know.
Excruciating pain. The spanking work?
The spankings work?
Yeah.
I think, you know, that children need to know right from wrong. You know, you just can't let them do whatever they want to do, and they need to know consequences of some of the things that they do. If you don't correct them, then they'll feel like anything and everything they do there's no consequences to it. So I believe, you know, we had 3 boys. We didn't have any issues out of you guys. You were always respectful. You know, spankings work, you know, but I say spanking to an extent, not, you know, beating you all aside the head and, you know, all this kind of stuff, you know. But spankings, they do work. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
The best way to get a child is your coffee table. If you have a coffee table and you have something on your coffee table and you don't want them to touch it, that's their first spanking.
Get those hands.
That is their first spanking. That coffee table. That's how you get it.
Going? Coffee table? What?
Like some teeth.
Okay. Yes, because you don't want to have to move anything from your coffee table. That's a no, and that's your first spanking.
Right.
That's every child's first spanking is the coffee table.
And that's what we did when we made sure we kept everything in our home where it belonged. We were not going to move anything for them. So anytime they would touch something, they get a little spank on their hand, we tell them no, because I wasn't going to rearrange my whole home because you didn't want to know, you know, you wanted to act the way you wanted to act. So no, I agree with that.
Oh, I thought
the coffee table you had a certain look. Yeah, you know, a mother has a certain look that she gives her children too, and that's a spanking by itself.
That's
you know, just looking at them.
That's the truth.
Okay, I thought the coffee table was gonna somehow be involved in. I was like, Lord, so what do you think is a mother's biggest fear?
Well, for me, my fear is, you know, I guess because of the world that we live in too, is not being able to protect my boys, not being able to, you know, something going wrong and not, you know, especially I have, you know, 3 young Black men and now they're all on their own doing their thing. You know, my worry is that, Lord, you know, that they don't come home. You know, I guess, you know, now that they're married, I don't call them a lot and I try, you know, I don't interfere in their lives. So I guess every night when I haven't heard from them or their wives, I haven't heard from their wives, I know, okay, they're home. Everybody made it home is good. But my biggest fear is that, you know, I don't want to get that call that, you know, something has happened to them. You know, it's just that you want to protect them at all times and then you know that you can't and you taught them the best that you can, but now that they're out there in the real world, it's like, you know, my fear is that, you know, that they just be protected and be safe.
Yeah, I think that's a fear that a lot of mothers still have, especially in this current climate. So thanks for sharing. What about you, Mom?
That's my
biggest fear.
Biggest fear, you know. I never forget when you first went to Harvard and I was on the news came across, it was saying they had a gunman and I called you and you said, Mama, I got the message. And I was like, oh my God, you know, she didn't make me feel good. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, then why are you worried, Mom? But, you know, it's just a mother's nature. Once you become a mom or a dad, you will really feel what it is that your parent was trying to tell you. Until you experience it. It's like you can say, well, she said so or she told me so. You will have a child exactly like you. Something about each one of your children will be you. And you will say, my mama used to say the same thing. My mama used to do the same thing. And I used to thought my mama was crazy because she would say such and such to me. Don't do this. Don't do this. I'm worried about you. And you would say to your mom, I'm grown, Mama. I'm grown. But it's just a mother and father instinct that kicks in with kids. I don't care how old you get.
Yes.
It's going to always be there. Your mom in your mind, your mom is going to be there. In your heart, your mom's going to be there, regardless of what. So, but I'm looking forward to my Daphne having a baby. I'm very looking forward to it. So I can come and spoil my grandbaby. I'm waiting. See, I still can run. I still can play basketball. I still can do all that. So I'm waiting on my grandbaby.
No comment.
Yeah, no comment. I'm right there with you. No comment.
That is so funny. Oh my goodness. Okay.
So I'm ready to give me another rose. You know, I need another rose added onto my bush. So I'm ready.
Was there a next question?
I'll try to get to it, but I can't stop laughing. Okay, all right. All right. So, what is one thing that you never had that you want for your kids?
I think in our family, what me and Daddy tried to do, me and my husband rather, what we tried to do with our boys was, give them that security in the family. We wanted our boys to have security to know that wherever they were, whatever was going on, that they could always come back home. They could tell us anything that they needed to tell us. That security, that sense of family and security, knowing that you were always going to be safe and that no matter where you were or what you were doing, you had that security in the family. That was real important for us. Even today, you guys are out there, you're doing, your own lives, but we always want you to feel like if you needed to, come home to talk to us, or, we just got your back. We just always wanted you guys to have that security of Daddy and Mommy. They have us, they have our back. Sometimes the world gets crazy and things go on in the world. And, we always just wanted you to have that security in the family to know that we will always be there and we got y'all back.
Aww. I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
My words exact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My words exact. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
As far as Daphne and her sister and her brother, I feel the same way. Which I always make sure they got a key to be able to get back in the house.
Yep. So, our boys have keys too. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The key to the car, key to the house.
Mm-hmm.
Key to the bank account to a certain extent.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
You want to give an extra key out? You want to give an extra key
out? So, have you all noticed any changes in motherhood from when you were a mother compared to new generations of mothers?
Well, as far as I was a mother that was, as they say, hard, but the mothers of today is, I'm your friend. I can dress like you. I can wear my hair like you. I want the respect that my mother had as far as us growing up as children. And when we became parents, we had the same respect. We wanted the same respect as far as our children was concerned. I never wanted to be your friend. I always wanted to be your mom. I'll always be your mom, but now generation, you really can't explain them. I really can't explain the new generation of moms, because what I see as a mom, you wouldn't think that a mom would do that. As far as the clothing, the hanging out, I just couldn't see myself doing that. You want respect, and that's what I have. I have respect. And as you become a mother, you want the same with your children. I can't see myself doing it. I don't like this new generation because they've taken restrictions. Okay, I can't whoop you. I can't tell you. I can't fuss at you in public. I can't. No. No, take me to old school.
Yeah.
There go them spankings again.
I guess I would say was thinking the same, more or less, like as far as motherhood in my day and motherhood now. Me, as far as like, I'm kind of old fashioned as far as with the raising of the family. I think, the family should be the most important thing. My children always came first. Raising them was my, first priority. Nothing else was more important to me than my family. Today's time, I think mothers, they have their children, but they have other priorities, which is good. I don't knock that. They have their other priorities. They do other things. But me, I love raising my family. I love being with my boys. I love teaching them, like you were just saying, how to respect elders, how to say yes, sir, no, sir, thank you, please, all the old stuff. So because I realized that, raising a family, they're going to go out into the world and they're going to interact with the world. And you just don't want them to be doing and acting any old crazy way because, they represent who you are. When you open your mouth, you're representing your family. When you do the things you do, you're representing your family. So, the way they raise the family is just different. Like you were saying, they're more open. They do a lot of different things. They accept a lot of things, but I just really believe in the value of family, the old fashioned way, and just, raising your kids and putting what you got into your kids because they're going to go out into the world and they're going to run into other people. They're going to marry other people. And it's just not about what you want, but it's about what they're going to be when they get out there in the world.
I'm going to say something funny. When Daphne was little and started becoming a teenager, she always thought I had eyes in the back of my head. And that was another thing that parents taught their children. When you're out in public, you never know who's watching you. So they always thought I had eyes in the back of my head because whatever they did, I would get a phone call. And they were like, how you know this? How you know? You never know. So you have to teach your kids. You never know who's watching you. So, you don't want it to come back on you. So I always keep those eyes in the back of your head everywhere you go. And that is true.
Yeah, that is. I guess that is good parenting. When you always feeling watched, you never really feel safe. So with that being said too, I know we already kind of talked about it a little bit, but that was focused on advice with pregnancy. What kind of advice would you give just to new moms today in general?
I would say as far as being a mom with your children, I feel like mothers today, they should know that their children are looking to them. And a lot of times we do a lot of things and buy things and give things. But I realized that really my boys, all they ever really wanted was me and my husband. They wanted time with us. They wanted our love. They wanted us. So I think I could tell a new mother, it's good to have things, it's good to buy things and all that kind of stuff, but really your children really just need you, your presence. Like Daphne's mom was saying, sitting down and when they're doing their homework, you're there with them, and just being there. Your presence is very important.
I agree. But my best result as far as a mom of now is until she become a mom. That's the only way she will actually find out. That's my now generation thing to new mom. Until you get that feeling and hold your baby, then you will exactly know what kind of mom you want to be. Everybody has said this. When I get grown, I'm going to give my children blah, blah, this. I'm going to give my children all this and that. But until you actually become a mom, I really don't have an advice for any new generation of moms right now, because I feel like they have to get their own adjustment, their own warmth, their own love, their own just their own feeling, and then everything will come natural. That's my biggest thing. Everything that you do or you prepared to be will be natural. And that's my only advice to any young mother of today. Do it natural.
That reminds me of what you said, Miss Francine, about, you'll get advice, but once you have a child, you'll know.
Yes.
It'll kick in. So
definitely.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, this was great.
That was interesting. Very interesting.
So funny. Well, is there anything you both of you would like to say in closing, besides the fact that you talked to both of your favorite children today? We know that's the case. But anything else you would like to say in closing? Give you the floor.
Oh, I love you. Have a good week. Nice talking to you, Terrell. You have a good week.
Nice talking.
And don't forget to say Happy Mother's Day.
I won't.
And I just want to say that, thank you for inviting us both on your podcast. And I just want you both to know that I'm proud of you and what you're doing. I listen to every podcast. I don't miss one. And you guys are doing a great job. Just keep doing what you're doing. Follow your dreams. And, it's going to take you places. And, I just thank you again for having us on.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Love you. Got much love for you. Proud of you.
Yes.
Waiting to come and see you. You're going to catch the plane with me.
Yes, my mom, she's kind of afraid of flight. So, flying. So, But no, thank you guys for being on. We can't wait to air this for Mother's Day. Yes. And
yeah, we appreciate it. Thank y'all. Love y'all. And we're here because of you guys. So
yes, absolutely.
That is fact.
If you're interested in continuing this and other conversations, visit our website, blackandhighlydangerous.com, to subscribe to our email list, suggest topics, and participate in our discussion forums.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at BHD Podcast. And please don't forget to subscribe and rate our podcast on your favorite platform. And as always, continue to be the oppressor's worst fear.